morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am Tim. Welcome to my stream. I'm going to be streaming my workouts for the rest of the year, at least, doing a body transformation. I think it's different about my body transformation as opposed to others is that I'm not using any sort of supplements. So that's no protein supplements, no like protein shakes, protein powders, no BCAAs, no creatine, no pre-workouts. Just trying to get all of my nutrients solely from food and see how it goes. I'm not opposed to taking supplements. If you enjoy taking them, great. I've taken them in the past. I just wanted to see if it was necessary to take them in order to hit my current workout goals. Let's see. And the secondary reason for not taking them is that one of my kids start preschool, which is expensive. So cutting out supplements saves me $100, at least $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year, and every little bit helps in this current economy. So today is going to be shoulders. Going to start out with lateral raises. Things happen real fast. So yesterday was pretty rough. I don't know if it was just from not eating good during the weekend or just for some reason just having a hard time recovering from the previous week's workouts, but we're going to hit it again and keep on pushing. I said yesterday, like that's the thing that makes a difference. Like it's okay to have rough days and hard days. It's just what's gonna make a difference is getting back up and doing it again the next morning. So that's where we're at. All right, let's start out with the 10 pounds, 4.53 kilograms for the shoulders. Here we go. I just want to say again, it's looking at the news, and everyone keeps saying that we have this potential to go back into a world war, which I don't know if it's true or not, but I would say if that's a concern, I would definitely really encourage good health now. I was looking at some past drafts. I was looking at some past drafts, and it was showing that they were taking guys all the way up to 45 years old in the past, and that I think it was World War II, but the basic training got down to 8 weeks, and normally it's 13 weeks. And normally you're not going till you're like right now. If you sign up for the military, they don't take you until you're in decent shape. But if there was ever a draft, it's not going to be that way. You're gonna have to go as is. So I would definitely encourage people to, especially if they have any sorts of concern with their military age, start getting in better shape. You don't want to be dying in basic basic training. And hit the battlefield in bad shape. And hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, that's 10 pounds, 4.53 kilograms. I'm doing 20 pounds, 9.07 kilograms. I, for one, am not pro-war. I don't want to go to war. I'm not really big on fear-mongering, which seems to be prevalent in at least the media in the United States. But I do think being prepared, maybe it's growing up doing Boy Scouts back in the day, I think being prepared is the smart move. And if I had been drafted 2 years ago, basic training would have been rough. If I had to be drafted today or had to go in today, I would want to think that I would be able to not be physically dying, so I can make sure that I'm mentally able to learn all of the things that you have to learn to survive on the battlefield. Not a fun topic. Good morning, whoever popped in. Just did 3 sets of 8 with the 30 pounds, 13.6 kilograms. The lateral raise. I'm gonna do one more set of as much as I can do before it gets ugly. Just cruising along. I saw that they have this portal in New York where you can see Dublin. It's a 24-hour live feed between Dublin and New York, and everyone can like see each other. That is an interesting concept. I think it would be more fascinating if they would move it or do more of them, but maybe don't put them just where the rich are. It'd be kind of interesting to see if they would put them in everyday spots where average citizens from each country were. Oh, at least an interesting concept to be able to see random parts of the country, but have them also be able to see you. It's fascinating. We have this thing in the US where our cities will have what's called like a sister city, and they'll pick some random random city in a different country, and those supposed to be connected and appreciate each other. So it's a weird thing. I don't even know how much people actually participate in it, but it would be interesting if they would set the portals in everyone's sister city, so they could see what life was really like in these different countries. It's the 25 pounds, 11.34 kilograms. All right, that's enough with the 25 pounds. 11.24 kilograms. Going to go down to 20 pounds. 9.07 kilograms. Second. Now, one of my family members recently had a baby, and is so tiny. It's not even a tiny baby. It's about average. But both of my kids were well above average in size. Like they were in the 90 percentiles for weight and height when born, or how long they were. So, like an average baby, just so small to hold. One of my kids was 9 pounds 6 ounces. My biggest kid was 10 pounds 2 ounces. So it's over 4.55 kilograms for one of them. Beast. Sturdy children. One of them is like just developed an arm on them, and they're really young, so they don't realize how hard they can throw something that's heavy, but they've gotten into throwing heavy objects. And that's the thing I work on this week, is just getting them to stop. Like, to know which balls they can throw at somebody. They have this like bowling ball set. And it's like a harder plastic bowling ball. And they picked it up and chucked it, playing at one of their siblings, and not realizing that it was going to hurt compared to like throwing the softballs. And that was a learning experience for them. Can't throw the heavy balls at people. I remember, you know, there's a time learning what things you can and can't throw at people. When I was a kid, we definitely got into our share of like mud slinging contests, throwing mud at each other, and occasionally like a small rock or two would get picked up. Not usually on purpose, but it could happen. And then of course there's like the always the brilliant time where you actually do have like a rock throwing war. And everybody understands you're throwing the rocks. You're supposed to throw rocks head or neck down at each other only. No big rocks, but everyone eventually screws up and somebody gets beaten in the head, and that's the end of the game. The one that's fun, because it's just a different twist on things, is cow patties. You can throw a cow patty like a discus, spiraling, throwing cow patties at each other is actually pretty fun. You get a nice spin on a cow patty. All right, that's done. Now I'm gonna move to the shoulder press. It's going to warm up a little bit. It's not really warming up. My arms are pretty warm, but I like to still use the 10 pounds and then 20 pounds before I jump into it. 10 pounds, 4.53 kilograms. And that's just, I like to make sure that everything's kind of lined up before kind of checking to see if there's any aches or pains before I get into the heavier weight. I don't want to grab, 50 pounds and go to press it and find out that something's wrong inside my body. This is 20 pounds, 9.07 kilograms. So I get the adjustable dumbbell set for 50 pounds. That's the funny thing about people. Uh, that portal, or not that portal between Dublin, and not about people, but about media, and I think the harm it does to society, because you have this portal between Dublin and the U.S. and the stories. There's like different people doing, they're flipping off people and doing crude things, but I would bet that 80 to 90% of the people that are showing up on that portal are just regular people saying hi and being nice. And there's no real problems. I bet you there's way more people being nice than being crude or causing a scene. But because of the way our media works in the US, at the very least, that's not the story that runs. It's that you're hearing the story about all the people that are negative. And that's unfortunate that that's how our media decides to play that out. Rather than be like, oh yeah, here's a couple of people that are not great. Or just don't mention them. There's no reason that they have to mention people doing the wrong things. You'll probably find plenty of stories or plenty of pictures about people just being nice. But in the US, that's not what sells. It's the negative stories, the negative things that's happening in the world.